Welcome back to another video. In this one today we're going to be discussing Tyson Fury's demeanour change potentially towards Oleksandr Usyk. We're now less than 2 weeks out from May the 18th, the showdown for Undisputed in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Tyson Fury's now landed in Saudi Arabia. I'm not too sure if Usyk has or not, but it really is game time now. Both promotional outfits, I know Queensberry especially, have been releasing a couple of interviews here and there with Tyson Fury. Seems to be a bit of a change in his demeanour. He's bigging Usyk up a lot now in interviews. You know, I think the one needed with Queensberry, I think the quote was, he's a real bad man. Bit of a change from when he was talking at especially when the announcement press conference came in London, where, you know, saying he's a middleweight. He can't punch, X, Y, Z, rabbit, whatever the insults he was throwing at Usyk. The demeanour change seems to be, a lot more respectful now. Now we're less than 2 weeks out from the fight. Seems to be game time now. I don't necessarily, and I'm not, I'm a big Tyson Fury fan. I'm not throwing shade at his approach. I actually think it could help Fury and work in his favour. I don't think being dismissive of somebody of Oleksandr Usyk's quality and prowess is ever going to help anybody. It doesn't matter if you're Tyson Fury or if you're not Tyson Fury. That man is just pure quality, footwork, everything, timing, speed. He has everything. And so Fury's going to have to be, 110% on to beat Usyk on May the 18th. But yeah, I think it's also testament to Usyk's, mental strength. And I know he doesn't speak English. I know, obviously, Fury's probably not going to be able to get into Usyk's head based on those two factors. A, Usyk's mental strength, and B, is he can't speak good English. So I think Fury's now realised that, that's probably not a possibility. So I think he's probably locked himself away in Morecambe. I know for the Ngannou fight, he was out in Saudi Arabia, months and months in advance. I heard him in a few interviews a couple of months ago, saying it doesn't matter when he arrives to Saudi Arabia and so on and so forth. But it was pretty common knowledge, I think, that he was going to be arriving, a lot later. So he's given himself 2 weeks this time, which I find interesting. I think he's gone really, really hard in camp. He looks in a lot better shape. He did for the original fight on February the 17th, I think it was. But I think this 3-month break or 3-month postponement is going to favour Fury, if I'm being completely honest. It just gives him another 3 months of sharpness. I think October to February, especially with how poor he looked against Ngannou in October, I think that's it's quite soon. So I think that extra 3 months is really going to help Tyson Fury. But yeah, I think now he realises that we're a couple of weeks out. He's not going to get into Usyk's head. I think he's trained incredibly hard. It's going to be very interesting on fight week to see, does he try the tactics at the press conference? Because although Usyk probably can't understand a lot of what's going on, he can read body language very well. So he'll know if Fury's really having a go at him or whether he's not. But I get the feeling, and I may be way off with this, but I get the feeling we could have quite a respectful fight week. I think both fighters are so locked in now. Usyk, we haven't heard too much from him, so you know how hard he's going to have been training away. Fury did the press conference a couple of weeks ago, but there hasn't been any real interaction between the two of them, probably because of the size of the stage that they're about to share. The first ever 4-belt undisputed heavyweight fight. The winner's going down in history. Regardless, it is a massive fight for both. So you don't need any distractions. You probably don't need to waste energy elsewhere. And Fury's probably realised that himself as well. But the kickoff press conference where he went nose to nose with Usyk, Usyk didn't back down. Usyk was kind of there with him as well. But since then it's been, there hasn't been too much interaction. But what interaction there has been seems to be quite respectful from Tyson Fury's end. But I think that's a good approach for him. I think there's no point wasting energy and no point. He's almost essentially arguing with himself because Usyk's just not going to get involved with that. He's too smart, he's too savvy, and he doesn't care for that. He cares about going in there, putting on a performance and fighting. He doesn't care if people are going to verbally insult him or calling this or calling that. That's just not his nature. But I will be interested to see on the final press conference mid to end of next week, and especially the weigh-ins, I guess, too, because Fury does love the lights, he loves the drama, he loves the attention. So is he gonna save that energy during the build-up that he's probably just locked himself away in training? Is he gonna really try and stick it on Usyk next week? I randomly and funnily have a feeling that he's going to be quite respectful. I think he's more in that zone now. But it's Tyson Fury we're talking about here, so he could just walk out with his top off and really get into Usyk at the final press conference and the weigh-in. Ultimately he's a showman, that's his character. But yeah, I've definitely noticed a switch in his demeanour and the way he's talking about Usyk. He's not dismissive anymore. He's calling him a real bad man, which he is. Usyk is a real bad man. I'll do more breakdowns on fight week next week. I'm going to really analyse what the body language is of both fighters. Let's see what zone they look to be in. Especially the shape come weigh-in time, but you'll be able to see probably Tyson Fury's face if he's drawn in, or because ultimately some of his best performances have been at a higher weight. Obviously the wilder fights come to the forefront of your mind at that stage, but it'd be interesting to see where Usyk weighs into. But I'm on record calling a Fury points decision. I'm really not confident with that now. I have no idea. It plays in my head. I just really can't imagine Oleksandr Usyk ever losing a boxing fight. But live by the sword, die by the sword. I have to stick with my Fury points prediction now. But yeah, I can see all outcomes. Can see Usyk stoppage, Fury points, Usyk points. That's how good a fight this is. It's probably going to come down to the 1%. Who hasn't cut corners? I don't expect any of them have to, but just that one slip, that one mistake from any of them, they're at that level now that it could be incredibly costly. So for me, unlike Tyson Fury ran rings around Deontay Wilder, mental warfare. He did with Klitschko to his two previous biggest fights or whatever it has been. It's by far and away Usyk's biggest fight of his career, but I just don't anticipate, and he definitely hasn't. I can't see it happening come fight week either, that Fury's going to be able to have that same mental edge over Usyk than he did Wilder and Klitschko. So let's see how it pans out. Let's see if Fury can try and get himself a little mental edge. I'm sure he will try, but I just feel like he shouldn't be wasting his energy really at that point. It's going to come down to who is the better man on the night, who is the more skilled, and they're going to go down in history for being the first ever 4-belt undisputed champion at heavyweight. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Obviously, they are going to have the rematch, but the belts are probably going to break up by that point. So this one's the big one. Obviously, the rematch will be huge too. I think the lot bigger if Usyk wins Tyson Fury's redemption story. But this is it. This is the fight. May the 18th. We are genuinely going to see who is the best heavyweight of this era, and I cannot wait for it.